After a slow start in the transfer market, Ten Hag's Manchester United have finally got the ball rolling, as in the last 10 days, United have completed the signings of Tyrell Malacia, Christian Eriksen and soon to become Lisandro Martínez. But could the Argentine international be available as soon as the Crystal Palace game in 3 days time? Also, what update did Fabrizio Romano give us on the Frenkie De Jong situation? And what did we learn from Manchester United's 4-1 victory against Melbourne Victory? Well, let's discuss all this in the latest episode of Transfers FC. But starting off, we have to start off with that breaking news, and that being the Lisandro Martínez transfer. In the last video, I told you we could potentially be getting those famous 3 words from Mr. Fabrizio Romano himself, and that's exactly what we got, as Fabrizio Romano said, Lisandro Martínez to Manchester United, here we go. Full agreement in place between Manchester United and Ajax for a package up to 55 million euros. Lisandro will sign up until 2027. The documents have now been approved. Done deal. The meeting in Amsterdam on Wednesday was the key step. Ten Hag was a big factor. Bish bash bosh, Lisandro Martínez to Manchester United, here we go. Lisandro Martínez is now a Manchester United player, and when you're signing someone of the quality of Lisandro Martínez, as I told you in last video, Lisandro Martínez is an elite ball playing centre back, and when you're signing an elite ball playing centre back, he will allow Manchester United to have dominance all across the pitch, as with his strengths being his passing ability and his ball progression, as when it comes to progressive carries and progressive passes, there aren't many better centre backs in the world of football than Lisandro Martínez. And with him also being able to play line breaking passes, and with him being left footed, allowing Manchester United to have a different dimension when it comes to the build up phase. Well, all this right here for 55 million euros, which is 46 million pounds. If this was a Premier League proven player, or even a player that had been proven in any of the top 5 leagues, you would say for 46 million pounds this would be an absolute bargain, especially when you look at his wages, as according to reports he will be on just over 120k a week. And for 46 million and 120k a week, as I told you, if this was a Premier League proven player, or even a player that had played in any of the top 5 leagues, everyone would say this is a massive bargain. And that's what I think this is, a massive bargain for Ten Hag's Manchester United. But as I told you in the start of the video, with the signing of Lisandro Martínez, could he potentially feature in Manchester United's pre-season game against Crystal Palace in 3 days time? Well, it looks like that could happen, as according to Mag Verve, Lisandro Martínez is scheduled to join Manchester United's squad at the training camp in Australia, and with us having 1 game left in Australia, and that being Crystal Palace in 3 days time, surely if Lisandro Martínez was not to feature in the game, why should he travel halfway across the world to go to Australia to only be part of some training drills? Well, that does not make sense. I think if he is to go to Australia and is to travel, I think if that is the case, well, I think Lisandro Martínez could potentially make his first team debut for Manchester United in our pre-season game against Crystal Palace. But anyways lads, as per, you know the drill, let me know your thoughts on this Lisandro Martínez transfer. Do you think he could potentially even feature in our pre-season game against Crystal Palace in 3 days time? But with that being said, let's swiftly move on to that Frenkie De Jong transfer update. Not only did Fabrizio Romano break that we got a here we go for Lisandro Martínez, but he was also busy for Frenkie De Jong, as he suggests Manchester United have reached a full agreement with Barcelona for Frenkie De Jong. After further talks, the package will be worth 85 million euros, a fixed guaranteed fee of 75 million euros plus add-ons. Personal terms still needs to be resolved, as Frenkie De Jong's priority is to stay at Barcelona. That right there is not the here we go we wanted to hear for Frenkie De Jong, but I think it's a massive step in the right direction, as according to Fabrizio Romano, Manchester United have now finally agreed the full fee for Frenkie De Jong, so the only stumbling block left is to agree personal terms, which in fact I think is not the massive issue. As I've previously told you in videos before, Barcelona owe Frenkie De Jong £17 million in deferred wages, and I think that right there is the massive stumbling block. But with the fact of the matter is, Manchester United have upgraded their guaranteed fee from €65 million to €75 million, and I think that was what the further talks was about. As I told you in previous videos before, Barcelona have said that they want Manchester United to help out in the wages situation, and I told you that I don't want Manchester United to help out in that situation. But with us increasing our fixed fee from €65 million to €75 million, you know what that means. United have chipped in with €10 million, and if that €10 million is not enough for us to finally seal this Frenkie De Jong saga, I don't know what will be. But anyways lads, as per, you know the drill, let me know your thoughts on this Frenkie De Jong situation. Do you think we can get this deal done in the next week? And if we can't get it done in the next week, do you think Manchester United should move on to different options? But with that being said, now let's move on to Manchester United's second signing confirmed. After completing the signing of Tyrell Malacia, Manchester United soon after got a here we go for Christian Eriksen. And with this tweet right here, the Danish international, i.e. Christian Eriksen, is now a Manchester United player. And when you're signing someone of the quality of Christian Eriksen, with what he has shown in the last 6 months at Brentford, well, it shows that he is still performing at an elite level when it comes to creativity. And with the fact of the matter is, with him set to earn around 150k a week at Manchester United, with bonuses included on top of that, well, the signing of Christian Eriksen, one of the best creative midfielders in the Premier League, a Premier League veteran at the age of 30 who probably still has 3 years left at the top level, him still performing at an elite level at Brentford in the last 6 months, the fact that he is two-footed, the fact that he's able to play in many different positions, as he has played in positions like attacking midfield, central midfield for teams like Inter Milan and Brentford, and even as an inverted winger for Tottenham Hotspur. Well, all this right here for a free transfer on 150k a week. Well, if any other team was doing this, you know they would be raving of the signing of Christian Eriksen. But with that being said, now let's move on to the final talking point of today, and that is Manchester United's 4-1 victory against Melbourne Victory. 2 games in, 8 goals scored, 1 goal conceded, and 1 trophy won, which was the Bangkok Century Cup Winners' Cup. Well, we could not have asked for a better start under Ten Hag. But talking about this Melbourne Victory game, after looking at the score sheet, seeing 4-1, you would have thought the game was clean sailing, but it really wasn't, as 5 minutes in Ten Hag's second game at Manchester United, we were 1-0 down after getting caught out on the transition, with Maguire and Lindelof's pace not being enough to stop the counter-attack, and 5 minutes in, 1-0 down against Melbourne Victory. You couldn't really ask for a worse start. But obviously lads, in an ideal situation, you really never want to be 1-0 down. But with the scenario we had, with Melbourne Victory playing a deep block and having a 5 at the back, I think this right here was perfect training for us to learn how to beat a deep block. And that's exactly what we did, as in that first half, after conceding the goal, we absolutely penned in Melbourne Victory. We were sustaining pressure well in the final third, our front four was linking up well, we had positional rotations with our midfielders stepping up at times, we had our fullbacks overlapping at times, our centre backs were playing a high line, we weren't getting exposed after that on the counter, and I think that performance in that first half, especially after getting those 2 late goals with Scott McTominay and Anthony Martial, I think that performance in the first half was a really good seeing for us United fans, as we have seen in seasons prior, especially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first season at Manchester United. Manchester United have always struggled against deep blocks, but the fact of the matter is, with this being Ten Hag's second ever game as manager for Manchester United, The showing we showed in that first half to show that we can pen in a team and absolutely destroy a deep block. Well, that showing in the first half for me is things you love to see. But the final thing I want to talk about is the performance of Charlie Savage and Zidane Iqbal. In our first game of pre-season against Liverpool, we saw two young lads come on, i.e. Charlie Savage and Zidane Iqbal. And in that game against Liverpool and in this game against Melbourne Victory, these two in the pivot were absolutely amazing. As when they came on, Manchester United were 2-1 up. But then again, just like the Liverpool game, the maturity in which them two played, you would have not thought that they are 19 years old each. And when you deep it, the fact that they are 19 years old each and they are already dominating games against Melbourne Victory and even that Liverpool game when we're seeing Liverpool have midfielders of Thiago, Fabinho and co, the way they are playing in pre-season, I would not be surprised if this was their breakthrough season. And the fact that we are in the Europa League, I think this is a massive positive for them too, as in the group stages when you are versing lesser quality teams. I think these two right here should be our pivot in that Europa League, and potentially if they do break through in the Europa League, like we have seen with certain players before, if you do break through in the Europa League, especially under someone like Erik Ten Hag, he is not afraid to give you first team opportunities. And as Sir Alex Ferguson once said, if you're good enough, you're old enough. And these two right here, i.e. Charlie Savage and Zidane Iqbal, the way they are playing, I think this might be their breakthrough season at Manchester United. But anyways lads, that was the latest episode of Transfers FC, and if you are excited for the transfer of Lisandro Martínez and hopefully the transfer of Frenkie De Jong, well, you know what to do. Go down there and smash that like button for your boy, and consider subscribing to my channel, as we are now on the road to 1,500 subscribers. And as I've told you before, any subscriber is massively appreciated. But for now guys, I'm out. Peace.